Thank you for tuning in to V News. You're watching the Bulletins. Coming up next, we have your top stories.
The Vietnam People's Army convenes its 10th Party Congress for the 2015 to 2020 tenure. Vietnam and the United Nations Children's Fund celebrate 40 years of cooperation. The Asian Development Bank forecasts Vietnam's GDP will expand by 6.5% this year.
The 10th Congress of the Vietnam People's Army for the 2015 to 2020 tenure began in Hanoi on September 22nd. Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng, State President Trương Tấn Sang, and Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng attended the event, among others. Over the last 5 years, the military party organization has thoroughly grasped and strictly implemented the party's instructions and resolutions. It has also well performed its role as an advisor to the party and state in military and defense affairs, and a key force in building the strong national defense, protecting the country's independence, sovereignty, unity, and territorial integrity. Speaking at the event, Party General Secretary and Secretary of the Central Military Commission Nguyễn Phú Trọng pointed out 5 major tasks that the Military Party Committee needs to implement in the next period. One of them is to study and build national defense and military strategies, as well as some projects to ensure national defense in the country's strategic regions. The military party organization must continue to fulfill its advisory role for the party and state in building military and defense policies, guidelines, and laws. Over the past 40 years, Vietnam and the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF have joined hands in improving the lives of many Vietnamese children. A ceremony was held in Hanoi on September 22nd to celebrate their cooperative relations.
Speaking at the event, Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Đức Đam expressed thanks to the UN, UNICEF, nations, organizations and individuals for their precious assistance to Vietnam in improving the lives of people, especially children. Vietnam has become a middle-income country. It has also reaped important achievements in implementing the Millennium Development Goals, posing direct or indirect impacts on children. The country has accomplished the universalization of primary education and improved gender equality while halving the maternal and newborn fertility rate. Particularly, Vietnam has set up a specialized court for family and juveniles for the first time. Đam hoped that the Vietnam-UNICEF relations will be further strengthened with special attention being given to children in remote areas as well as disadvantaged and disabled ones.
The Asian Development Bank has forecast Vietnam's GDP will expand by 6.5% in 2015 and 6.6% in 2016. The bank released its forecast while announcing the Asian Development Outlook Update report in Hanoi on September 22nd.
The Asian Development Bank took note of stellar performance in the manufacturing industry, which rose 9.9% in the first 6 months of the year as foreign enterprises sped up production for export. The construction sector picked up 6.6% in the first half of the year, spurred by recovery in the property market and public investment in infrastructure.
Even at a time where the external demand for Vietnamese exports has been somewhat softer. So Vietnam has been successful in penetrating export markets, largely through foreign direct investment financed firms.
After a few challenging years, the financial sector also appears to be picking up momentum with credit growth set to exceed target in 2015, the report said. However, the report noted that Vietnam faces some growing macroeconomic challenges, such as the globe's unstable economy, slowing economic growth of large trade partners and investors, reducing export earnings from key farm produce and oil, among others. In a bid to mitigate the issues, Vietnam needs to expedite deeper restructure and financial reforms, improve productivity, and enhance the country's international competitive capacity.
Participants at a workshop in Sydney advised Vietnamese companies to thoroughly study the local market and export regulations to successfully penetrate the Australian market.
Nguyễn Hoàng Thúy, chief of the Vietnamese Trade Office in Australia, said the local trade and tax policy is relatively transparent, but non-tax barriers such as regulations on quality and sanitation pose challenges to foreign exporters. She suggested Vietnamese companies build long-term business strategies, focusing on building consumer confidence in Vietnamese products, creating brands and diversifying products and improving their quality. Coinciding with the event, the 5 Food Fair 2015 was held from September 20th to 23rd in Sydney. 13 Vietnamese businesses operating in various sectors such as food processing, garment, construction materials, and aquaculture joined the fair in a bid to seek partners in the Australian market. The fair created room for enterprises from both sides to introduce new products and access latest technologies. First held in 1994, the 5 Food Fair has become one of the biggest annual food industry expositions in Australia. This year, more than 1,000 enterprises from all parts of the world exhibited products at the fair.
The Semi-Vietnam Business Mission 2015 kicked off in Hanoi on September 22nd. Participants at the two-day conference are discussing different aspects of the microelectronics industry in Vietnam. The conference is intended to stimulate partnership and personnel training for the development of the industries in the country and Hanoi in particular. This year's conference will focus discussions on a wide range of topics, including government perspective on the development of the domestic microelectronics sector, public-private partnerships between government and industry, government approach to attracting international investors and partners, and lessons learned from emerging markets. SEMI is the US-based global industry association serving the manufacturing supply chain for the micro and nano electronics industries. For more than 40 years, SEMI has supported its members and the micro and nano electronics industries through programs, initiatives, and actions designed to advance business and market growth worldwide. A 3-day seminar on greener rice cultivation in Vietnam and across the Greater Mekong sub-region is ongoing in the northern province of Thái Nguyên. Our reporters will bring you more details. About 20 reports and studies are presented at the seminar by representatives from Vietnam, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and China's Yunnan and Guangxi provinces. Their research focuses on sustainable farming methods with the system of rice intensification (SRI), an organic method that opts against herbicides and uses younger seedlings and low water, underscored as a potential model. In Vietnam, more than 1.5 million farmers in 29 provinces and cities have thus far applied the system of rice intensification on over 500,000 hectares of rice paddies. The Thái Nguyên Department of Agriculture and Rural Development reported the measure has generated positive outcomes in the province, reflected in strongly growing crops, as well as up to 15% yield increases. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development's International Cooperation Department said rice cultivation in Vietnam produces an average of 27.8 million tons of CO2, accounting for 67% of the total greenhouse gases emitted by the sector. This contributes to making Vietnam the 31st worldwide in terms of emissions. To address the issue, Vietnam is improving its land and farming management, as well as boosting the spread of biomass energy. As part of the seminar, participants will take field trips to and further discuss applying the rice intensification system on rice paddies in some districts of Thái Nguyên province. Vietnam's plastic industry is facing a number of challenges to innovating technologies and improving quality and competitiveness to better integrate into the global economy. Statistics from the Vietnam Plastic Association show that the sector raked in $4.2 billion over the first half of 2015, 10.3% higher than the same period last year. However, domestic firms now cater to only 20 to 30% of the demand for raw materials for plastic goods. The remaining is supplied through purchases from foreign countries. Moreover, companies in the plastic industry are expected to face fierce competition in the ASEAN region once the ASEAN Economic Community is set up and protective tariffs are removed. In order to maintain its competitiveness, the sector was urged to enhance modernization, invest more into advanced technology, and map out detailed plans for development. Market research and cooperation with domestic and foreign partners in the supply chain are also needed to meet the quality requirements and utilize preferential tax opportunities. The Vietnam Coal and Mineral Industries Group launched a coal exploration project in Tiền Hải District, the northern province of Thái Bình, on September 21st.
Speaking at the launching ceremony, Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Cao Quốc Hùng highlighted the significance of